How's the event been for everyone so far today? Anyone found any really cool games? Cool. Let's see if this is going to play nice with us. Hopefully it will. Okay, the fonts, hopefully the fonts are going to load. If not, that's fine. You can just live with bad fonts. All right. Hello, everyone. How are we doing today? Well, that's good to hear. All right. So, hi, I'm Emerson. I'm founder and CEO of Tetra Studios. Let me actually get a speaker view here so I can see my notes up at the same time. That might be a good idea. Yeah, so today you can clearly see there, this is how, we've got a game called Project Shatterpoint just down there. You can play it right now on the floor. So has anyone played it yet so far? Okay, so quite a few people. Okay, so we've got some fans in the room. That's good to see. Let me, primary monitor. Let's see. It's gonna, okay, swap. Oh, why is the notes? Oh, I'm gonna have to wing the notes then. That's fine. Let's do this. Doing it live. Doing it live, absolutely. Let me. Alrighty. So, hi, hello. I'm Emerson. I'm founder and CEO of Tetra Studios. We've been making games since 2017. Average of, I mean, you can see the stats up there. We did a lot of stuff in the VR space. So VR was our really big niche before we started doing the latest one, which is FPSs. So this presentation is about this game right here, Project Shatterpoint. This has been in development for about 4 months, and I'm going to tell you how we got 2.5 million views on this project from 4 months of just starting the game. We've got a little handy-dandy process, a little handy-dandy setup guide. This is some of the coverage that we've got. So you can see, we've had quite a lot of content creators cover the game. We had media coverage in the first 10 days of the game being developed, as well as a lot of other posts there. Here's our 3-step process. MVP, validation, and put the demo up. So like Liam was mentioning earlier about putting your stuff on itch, we're going to actually delve into what that looks like. So let's get into it. Making the MVP. The reason why making MVPs are so critical in this economy is because publishers are looking to de-risk their operations as much as humanly possible, right? There's been too many Concords. They need to get their money back. This is how. So if you're an indie, all I care about is numbers. You need to prove to them that you've got interest before they're going to consider investing. So the bar is actually a lot higher. You can't just go off vibes or story anymore. You got to give them numbers. I like to think of an MVP, the minimum viable product, like a thesis statement. Does this game relax people? Can a rally car game be fun on mobile? For me on Shatterpoint, it was, can Titanfall be made in Unreal Engine? And then does Destruction improve Titanfall's core gameplay? These are the two aspects we had to answer. If any of these were no, this project would not be existing, right? We have to validate these two things before anything else can come out. When I say MVP, I mean really like 2 weeks, like 10 days to 2 weeks. The whole goal of it is just to test if the thing works. Again, Playmaker's Arcade is very good for this stuff, as well as Beer and Pixels. Events we can get in-person feedback, or even things like Galaxy Games. Things we get in-person feedback is really important. Any means necessary. Your goal is to prove the thesis, not to make a functional, fully finished game that you wrote all the code yourself. Just get it done and prove the thesis works. So again, you can write the world's worst code. If you just throw away the prototype and restart, that's completely okay. The goal is to test the thesis and to see if it works. So again, test the idea as soon as humanly possible. I really mean this as soon as humanly possible. The longer you spend on it, if it doesn't work out, you don't want to have to throw away everything and restart. All right, validating. So let's say we're at an event like this today. How do you operate? How do you actually operate at events to see if the product's any good? Firstly, ask a lot of questions, right? If people are playing it, why are they playing it? They're playing it for a reason. Find out what that reason is. Probe further as well. So things like, if you know someone using one weapon repeatedly, say, it seems like you're using that one weapon a lot. Or if they leave early or play for a long time, find out that information. Your goal is to see if the game should be killed off now. So you've got to be ruthless. And you need to write everything down that you see. This is what good feedback looks like. So 10 to 15 minutes, extensive. People come back for seconds. If people come back for seconds, that's a really good sign, because no one's forced to play any of these games during these events, right? As well as if you have QR codes or whatever, if they scan that stuff, also a great sign. Has anyone heard this before? Has anyone heard that it's good, right? If you hear this, this is the worst feedback you can possibly get, because they're just being nice, all right? The game's bad, they're just being nice. If it was good, there would be a motive, or they'd use feedback. If it's a game they want to see succeed, they'll say, you know what? You can improve these aspects, you could do this, you could do that. But if it's just meh, kill it. It's not going to succeed. In the online space, if you don't hear much feedback at all, exact same vibe, right? If you don't get a lot of bites on what you're doing, exact same vibe is it's good in person. Again, people will usually play for a few minutes and leave if it's a bad game. So if it's less than 5 minutes, 5 minutes is like I feel like the upper echelon of time for the amount of, I guess, time people care for any given game. If it's more than 5 minutes, they seem to do care a bit. If it's less than 5 minutes, they don't care. And again, I would almost argue the 3 reasons are bad controls, too hard, or just not understanding how the game works. These 3 things can kill your game immediately. So if you're doing an MVP, these have to be on point, like really on point. So let's say you made it in person and people like it. Great, take it online. This is the next stage. So it's beyond the itch.io. It's actually getting people's opinion of it online. So you want enough time for 15 seconds worth of polished gameplay. People don't use Reddit. This is crazy. Reddit is one of the best platforms for this stuff because your target audience lives there, right? We didn't have to go find Titanfall fans. We just go r/Titanfall and post our gameplay there. Reddit is a bit of a community, and there's a bit of an understanding to do there. Redditors have there is that if I say the word Reddit, you instantly know what I mean, right? Like there is that vibe, but that's the idea. You got to understand, you got to study it. If you go and sell stuff on Reddit, like if you try and make advertising, oh boy, you're getting kicked out immediately. Don't do that. Make it entertaining. Don't make it an ad. So these are like example titles that work really well that I've done in the past. Things like, I need your feedback, or I'm looking for playtesters. People love this on Reddit because Reddit's a very communicative platform. Now, if no one bites on this, your post is either not good or your game's not good. Either way, you know this information now and not 6 months down the road. That's a critical piece of information that you now have access to that you didn't have otherwise before. Again, I can talk, and come chat to me about this afterwards. I've got so much detail on Reddit and all this other stuff in the presentation. So this is what we did, right? I'll break down the title of how this works, right? So I said, since Respawn isn't making Titanfall 3 anytime soon, I made this prototype in 10 days and add destruction. Now the first part, the since Respawn didn't make Titanfall 3, me understanding the community, me understanding the issues that this community has about Titanfall 3. And then I also said, hey, I'm not just doing that, I'm adding destruction. The whole point though, I'm not selling anything. I'm not saying you can buy this or you should go in my mailing list. It's just the post is there. As well as this, I did A/B test this beforehand. So I showed this to a few people and I got their feedback on if version A or version B of the video is better. 15 seconds long, that's all it is. You don't need anything more than that. And this got about 400k views with about 3 days or so. And 6,000 upvotes. If it works, it works. This is the response that you should be getting if it works. So people always ask me, how do I get people to talk about the game? Media, YouTubers, how do I get them to talk about the game? It's operating in what's called the currency of attention, what I call the currency of attention. This is how much the currency of attention is worth. So every single view you get for a content creator gives them money. At the end of the day, this is the only thing they care about. They don't care about, oh, your game's got pretty graphics or whatnot. No, they care about how much money is talking about your game going to make for me, right? So YouTube is actually one of the best platforms for this. YouTube is really good for game discovery. I think it's something like 54% of all gamers discover new games through YouTube. It's an excellent platform for this stuff. But the point being is, you need to prove that your content's going to make the creator money. That's the fundamental thing that you need to prove. As well as that, you need to make sure that you are in the areas that the content creator you're targeting is going to cover, right? So you've got views and you want to get to that middle section where, you meet them in the middle, you have a game that gets them views, and then you're on a topic that they're going to cover. So for example, this website, The Main Quest, it's a website about horse games. They're not talking about GTA 6. No matter how popular GTA 6 is, they're not going to talk about it because it's not relating to horses, right? So find that middle ground. Last section, firstly, ensure you operate in currency of attention. Last section, put your demo up. Okie dokie. So, as mentioned by Liam, itch.io is an excellent low-stakes way to get feedback. The only caveat is that people have low-end hardware. But if you're aware of this, it is a very, very effective method of getting feedback, especially if you're in Unity and you can export in HTML and do it as a web player. Unbelievable, low barrier entry. You get a lot of views like that. Demo is a marketing tool these days. That's the move. Streamers and content, I'll show you this in a second. Streamers and content creators scour these platforms for new games or download it because someone told them to. Having the demo up means that you get those views early on. Make sure it's a good demo though. That goes without saying. Again, Concord's a great example because Concord was a fine game. It worked. It was playable. It didn't crash or anything. It was completely fine as a game, but it wasn't great. And so the game got completely killed because of that. Your game needs to be excellent. There's no room for mid games in this economy. There's so many games out there why not they're going to play yours and take a risk when they could play, Call of Duty, and they really like it. They've got their game that they're really into. Again, pre-alpha is really good, as well as being provocative in responding to feedback. Being that guy that responds instantly, oh man, you get a lot of good points for that. So if you're in a multiplayer game, have a single player mode. People are not going to be online 24/7. This is an issue that we're actually having right now when we're fixing, but people are not going to be online 24/7. Make sure it's got a single player mode. Tutorial, link to your Discord, all the drill. So this is an example of what this looks like, right? So we had the game trailer and the itch demo available. We had this guy cover it, and then this guy cover it, and this guy covered it, and this guy covered it. The whole point is that once you get one person covering it, other people pick up on it, and other people start talking about the game itself. And again, you'll notice here, there's small subscriber channels. I don't know how much more time we have left. I think we've only got like 2 more minutes. So yeah, wrap it up. Cool. Yeah, I'll talk about this afterwards, but one of the most powerful things these days that people don't realize is that small content creators are the future of making games, are the future of getting you views. Under 1,000, I'm talking about. Don't worry about the big million views guy or million subscriber guys. The smaller, the better. So again, obviously, make a great product. People are going to talk about it. And that is how you build a viral product in 2 months. Thank you for all being here today. I really appreciate your time. Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, that's very good. Okay, so I'll talk about this in a second. So who here has played Ghost of Tabor or has heard of Ghost of Tabor? It's a VR game like Escape from Tarkov. Maybe. Anyway, it was one of the most popular VR games in the ecosystem, and I was speaking to to basically the creator of that game, and I was saying to him, how do you get so many views so quickly? And he's like, look, they sent out game keys to people who are under 1,000 subscribers. And the thing is, right, if you get a game key and you have 1,000 subscribers, you're like, oh my gosh, this company cares about me. Of course I'm going to make content. And in TikTok and YouTube, it only takes one post to hit the algorithm for that payoff to be worth it. So they had hundreds of 1,000 subscriber individuals making TikToks all the time. And it only takes 1 or 2 for them to go viral, for other people to see it, and for them to make content as well. So it's this little trend, a little spiral that goes on from there. All these YouTubers here, so the first ones to cover it were the smaller ones, and the bigger ones picked it up because the smaller ones picked it up. Don't be afraid to reach out to the smaller guys. If the content creator is more than 10K subscribers, they're probably not going to care about your game anyway. Just reach out for this 1,000 and less, and you'll be surprised at how effective that is. Do anyone have any questions as well while we're here? Any at all? There's no such thing as a bad question. Yes. Yeah, good question. So, yes, that's a great question, because this game is an Unreal. The main thing is having a small download size. So small download size is a really critical thing. We've noticed that, the larger download size, the less people are going to actually finish the download and continue playing. You got to think, a lot of people on itch are the lower end people, because, why be on itch when you can be on Steam? So, this is the main question, right? So people on lower hardware, you got to make sure your game runs on low end hardware. Unreal actually does have a HTML component coming in a future version. They're re-adding it back into a plugin. It is a future thing that that's the last time I heard of it about it. There is a future thing coming in. They did take support away in 4.26. They're adding it back in. You could use 4.26 if you really wanted, but no one wants to use 4.26. So, yeah, hopefully that answers the question. No, so this is a download. This is it's a full FPS game. They had to download it. And our download's only a gigabyte or so. So it unzips to 4 gigabytes, but the download is 1 gigabyte. And that's really effective because, a gigabyte, anyone can download a gigabyte really quickly. That's a really effective thing. Yeah. Any other questions? Cool. Again, I will be down there at the exhibition section. I've actually got to make sure it's all still running. So I'll go back down there. But again, if you have any questions about the stuff, please come and say hi to me. I'd love to talk about any part of this. Hopefully you guys learned something from that. Thank you for having me, Galaxy. I really appreciate it.